Hi everyone, I'm Pat. I've just completed my first 6 months of publishing AI coloring books on Amazon KDP. In this video, I'll be going over how much money I've made, how many books I've published in total, how much time I've invested into it, and I'll be talking about some of the things I've learned along the way. So if you're someone considering starting, or perhaps you're a publisher on Amazon KDP already and would like to compare your results to mine, this video might be helpful to you. I started publishing in October 2023. At the time, I was working a full-time job. Therefore, the only time I could dedicate to creating books was in the evenings as well as the weekends. At this stage, you could call it a side hustle. To my surprise, the first 2 books I published actually started getting some sales pretty quickly. I sold 6 copies across those 2 books before I even started running any ads. This gave me fuel to keep going. Therefore, in the first month of me publishing, I've put in a lot of work and time to publish as many books as possible. At the time, I was trying to target the Halloween niche with Halloween holidays approaching. In total, I made 4 seasonal books for Halloween and 3 generic books that month. Unfortunately, most of those didn't get any traction, and running ads for Halloween was proving to be very expensive. The cost per click was very high. Additionally, there was a lot of competition on the market. With Halloween approaching, everyone was publishing Halloween books, so it was very difficult to get your book ranked to get any sales. Therefore, I've ended my first month at a loss of $55. This was lesson number 1. Don't target seasonal niches. First of all, they're seasonal, as the name suggests. Therefore, you'll be lucky to get some sales when the niche is hot, but as soon as the season is over, your sales will dwindle and so will your BSR. This means that when the holiday comes around next year, your BSR will be on the floor anyway, and you'll be competing again with all the newly published books. Therefore, you'll be lucky to get any sales without boosting those books again with paid ads. Additionally, the holiday niches get very saturated, therefore the competition is very strong. That competition drives the price of ads up, and the cost per clicks are significantly higher than they are for evergreen niches. Therefore, I've decided to stick to books which sell all year round. In November, I experimented a little bit with optimizing my ads, as well as turning off the ads that weren't profitable. I basically wanted to see after my first month whether I can make this thing profitable at all. I didn't publish any books in November. I took the back seat to see if the books that I already published can bring in any money organically. At the end of the month, I made $130 in royalties, 75 of which was profit. This was my first taste of so-called passive income.
Wow.
Well, mostly passive anyway. December rolled around, and with Christmas approaching, the sales really started picking up. I published 2 new books that month before the Christmas period. Those got a few sales. I boosted them with ads a little bit, but it wasn't anything spectacular. As you can see, most of the sales in December came from 1 book that been getting sales since the beginning of my publishing journey. In fact, this was the 2nd book I published. It turned out to be a decent performer and made me solid money that month. I hit $567 in revenue and ended December $376 in profit. Now, to summarize my first 3 months, I've ended the year with $442 in profit. This really showed me the potential of Amazon KDP, and that it is possible, in fact, to make money from this, even when treating it as a side hustle and not going into it full time. January has been a very busy month for me. Therefore, I haven't had the time to focus much on KDP. I've published 1 book towards the end of the month, but otherwise, I've been really hands off. I ended the month with $269 in revenue and $168 in profit. A significant cut from December, as you would expect. Nevertheless, the month closed in green, and it was mostly passive, so I couldn't complain. Then came February. My newly published books started taking off, and I was happy to see that my income is starting to diversify a little bit, as at the moment, it's been only just 1 book driving all my profits. Interestingly, this book was in the same niche as my number 1 book. I decided to create something similar that could go in a series with my other book. This seemed to be the right approach. Happy with my success, I've ended the month with $493 in revenue and $294 in profit. I could clearly see from the chart that my royalties were on the rise and they were heading in the right direction. This was lesson number 2. If you find a good niche/strategy, stick to it and take advantage of it. If something's working, why change it? Squeeze the lemon and maximize the opportunity. Finally, we reach March, my 6th month of publishing, and by far the most eventful. My top 2 books were driving some nice sales, and the money was coming in at the fastest rate so far. Sales were at all-time high. They were double of last month's numbers, So naturally, I've started configuring my Lambo until this happened. Also managed to get my second best performing book blocked and my Amazon KDP account suspended. Yep. If you want to listen to the story and find out how I handled the situation, feel free to watch my other video covering March. I'm not going to bore you with the details on this one. Luckily, my account is safe. I've had to take a hit and lose my second best performing book due to an infringement. That was lesson number 3. Don't violate the guidelines. Stay safe and keep your account. Don't give Amazon any reason to go against your content. It's too easy to lose your account and all the income associated with it. Violating trademarks, incorrect book categories, misleading titles and descriptions. All of this can lead to your book getting blocked and your account getting permanently suspended. I was lucky enough to keep my account, but now I'll be a lot more wary when creating my new titles. Although a bit anticlimactic towards the end, March has been a great success. I've made $1,040 in royalties. Breaking $1,000 a month was a huge milestone for me and has been a goal ever since starting KDP. Profit was actually $885, however. Very close, but not quite there yet. Funny enough, if that book didn't get banned, I probably would have hit 1K in profit that month. So, to summarize, KDP is definitely not a get-rich-quick scheme. It does take a lot of time and effort to grow your account to a reasonable level. But naturally, as with anything, the more you do it, the better you get. Not only does the quality of your books get better over time, the process becomes a lot quicker and more efficient the more you do it. Obviously, there's an option of outsourcing some of the work to someone else. However, at the beginning, I wouldn't recommend doing it. I think it's very useful for everyone to go through the entire process themselves, to learn the craft, to have a good understanding and grasp of what it takes to create a good coloring book. As your library grows, you can definitely see the compounding effect with KDP. The best thing of all is, once the book is published, it will keep bringing the money in without you having to move a finger. That truly is passive income. To summarize, in 6 months, I've made $2,710 in royalties, $1,743 of which is profit. Overall, I think I did pretty well in my first 6 months, considering the work input that's gone into it. The results give me confidence to put more work into this venture, as it's definitely paying off. Anyways, that will be it for this video. Please let me know in the comments what sort of numbers you've managed to achieve in your first 6 months. I'll be really interested to hear how my numbers compare to some of you guys. If you found this video helpful, please drop me a like and consider subscribing if you would like to see more of my face. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.